pronounce Om. This is why the Tibetan monks, this is why we have the Buddhists, why we have the yogi practitioners. Everybody chant Om. Even Christians, Amen, do that on Sundays when they have altar call. The Baptists, the Methodists, so forth and so on. So this is a known sound in which that helps to activate the pineal gland and the whole body sequence of what we now refer to as your chakra system, or Shankara, or ritus, as they're also referred to as. So we get to Sirius, and Sirius, like I said, star system, you have Ziggy Tolo, you have Politolo, and you have Emiatolo. That's Sirius A, Sirius B, Sirius C. Now, in your Quran, in Surah El-Najm, chapter 53, verse 49, it states that, and it was he who is the Lord of Sirius. He is Allah. All right. He is Allah. Allah is the Lord of the mighty star Sirius. All right. So Sirius was a knowledge within Islam and within the Holy Quran. All right. Within Freemasonry, it is known as the blazing star. All right. In Freemasonry, Sirius, the brightest star in the night sky, is often identified as the blazing star, which is a central Masonic symbol representing divine guidance, enlightenment, and the light of truth. All right. Sirius is also what they refer to as the women of Freemasonry, who are known as the Eastern Stars. Okay. The Eastern Star is Sirius, symbolic to Sirius. All right. And then there's a planet in which that correlates to Sirius C, in which that's called Nantolo or Nibiru, which is the planet orbiting around Sirius C, the home of the gods. Okay, that's what that is. Hold on a second, I might have to plug up my laptop here.
Sure, take your time. Anybody got any questions? How's everybody in the chat doing? We're going to get the questions at the end. I know I have a couple.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, so Nibiru is the star that orbits Sirius C. Okay.
Right. So it's oftentimes
now is the time when it's supposed to be coming back, correct?
Right. It is now back.
This is
a lot of this. I kind of think that they're talking about some kind of thing is breaking off in Alaska to make some, it's going to be messing with the ocean waves and whatnot. But I think that Nibiru is actually causing a lot of these water phenomenon on the planet,
Right. Right. All right. No doubt about it. Mm-hmm. And we have 3 suns. Dr. Deborah Blair taught us about this. 3 suns in the sky now. We have our sun, we have Kachina, and we have Nibiru or Nebaru.
Right.
Which is called Nantolo.
Okay. Kachina has actually been here since like 2019. It's at the, what is it? It's either 3 o'clock or the 7 o'clock position right next to the sun, and it's green.
Right.
Some cell phones can pick it up, but not iPhones. I believe it's the Android phone that can pick it up.
Definitely Android.
Camera. I've been watching it for years. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Absolutely. Carry on.
All right. So as we know, all of this information ties together. We're just putting the pieces of the puzzle. So we get the book written by brother Bobby Hemmett, edited by Bobby. It's called Melanin People. And he says in there, blacks came from the star Sirius, which in the modern day is called heaven, because Orion is Greek, but the Greek translation is heaven. All right. And of course, Orion and Sirius, which is part of the Canis Major, is right there together. So
Can I
blacks did
ask a
not
quick
come from,
question?
yes.
I'm sorry that I don't want to break your build, but this is really important because a lot of people don't notice that. But that
Mm-hmm.
star constellation, isn't that the scorpion? See how it's got
This,
the two hands that go out and then the tail that swings around because the Orion is supposed to be in that constellation with like
right. It's part
Antares
of that
moon and
constellation right next to it.
Mars and
Right.
mm-hmm.
Next to it.
Because
This is called
they
Canis
have it
Major.
as something
Mm-hmm.
else European, yeah. But how they
Right.
named it when you look at it, you see the tail swinging around and the
Right.
two claws coming out in the
Mm-hmm.
front. Okay, I just wanted to point that out.
Okay. And so blacks did not come from the Ice Age and then turn Caucasian black apes. That's a lie that was conjured up at the Rosicrucians. All right. So the Dogon tribe of Mali claimed to have had direct contact with the Nomos, alleged beings from Sirius. All right. However, which is called the home of the gods. The make claim by Robert Temple, known as the Sirius Mysteries, and by Murray Hope, which is known as the Sirius Connections. And you can get this book here, Explorer, Race, Origin, and the Next 50 Years. And this is written by Robert Shapiro. All right. And this is what he says. As I have said in Explorer Race, Origin of the Next 50 Years, there are some races on this planet that cannot go get along without, because just by their very being, they hold an energy that maintain life here. I refer to the skinned people who all hail from Sirius. Sirius is the place where the prototype feminine human beings were created. Sirius, as a galaxy system, is also strongly feminine and in the source of the mother energy that you are often attributed either to religious figures such as Mother Mary or to the Mother Earth. But in fact, the real source of that feminine mother energy is Sirius. The dark skinned people all are all rooted from Sirius. If anything happens to them in a way where they don't feel welcome here, the murmuring will begin among them as well. Okay. Now, this is, he goes on. I'm not saying that you have to revere dark skinned people, though I would say that they are usually treasured on other planets as a powerful force for nurturance just by being. Therefore, if you are consciously or unconsciously or even unintentionally unwelcoming dark skinned peoples, they add dark skinned people to your thank you list, all right, or your thank yous. You can say people from a given country, but I recommend just saying dark skinned people because dark skinned people live all over the world. In this way, you will not exclude any. Perhaps when you get done thinking the different animal species, you choose to think, or even before that, if you choose to go to the order, fill yourself with that feeling of welcome and genuinely say, with the meaning and the intent of the welcome. Welcome to Earth, dark skinned people. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you. Might be an option at the end. All right. In his other book, Explore Race, Origin, and the Next 50 Years, he said, I'm presenting the origin of dark skinned people on Earth because they are so unique to the founding of your culture here. They are really functioning as a living, walking, talking connection between this planet and Sirius, and to a lesser extent or degree to Orion. If anything ever happens and they decide to return to Sirius or Orion, and they have the capacity to do so over a period of about 8,000 years, 10,000 maximum, all right, but probably 7,500 to 8,000 years, the energy coming from Sirius and Orion will gradually halt because it takes a while for the energy to travel here. It would take about 7,750 to 8,000 years for it to cease after they left. The energy is what allows you to function and to be alive here on a planet borrowed from Sirius, which is why it looks so different from the rest of the planets in the solar system. In short, to exit not only in this solar system, but in this galaxy. Okay? To put not too fine of a point on it, the dark-skinned African people are what's keeping you alive here. Their origin is so rooted in the extraterrestrial culture that the ability for civilization to exist at all on the surface is directly related to them. The other races who started out their culture on the surface, such as the Palladians and the Polynesians, the Polynesians are the root race of the white race. All right, would not be able to maintain the planet's energy and keep you here intact. All right. Here's another book by him. He said, I would say that the Syrians, both positive and negative, were here about the same time. They were the founding beings. All right. Sirius has been involved in the beginning of the seeding of this planet and the creation of the dark skinned races. And this is the reason why you don't hear them talking about the Syrian beings. They'll tell you everybody else, the Nordics, known as the tall whites, the grays, the reptilians, the insectoids. They tell you all of this other shit, but they'll never mention the real extraterrestrials who are you and I. So Sirius has been involved in the beginning of the seeding of this planet, in the creation of dark-skinned races, the area of the Pleiades, and the Sirius created beings here, the Tone civilization, and their offshoots, including Jehovah's Group and other representatives from very positive and loving places on Sirius who follow Jehovah millions of years later, all have one thing in common: dark skin. You pale skins did not come along until a whole lot later. Now, this is what he is saying. All right? He's saying this. So we come down. Do you know why? They felt like not only were they already that color, but that the sun energy was so strong, these beings, the third planet from the sun, that dark-skinned people or dark-skinned races would be more durable. I might add that the light-skinned races were really never intended to be on this planet. Johnny come laters. He broke it down.
He sure did. He sure did.
Yeah. All right. So get the book, Science of the
I'm saying,
Dogon.
did they kill him yet? I mean, unalive.
Good question.
I'm about to look that up. I'm gonna look at what's
look
his
it up.
name?
Robert
No longer
Shapiro.
with us.
What's his name?
That's his name. Robert Shapiro. Robert Shapiro. The Science of the
Got
Dogon.
it.
Decoding the African mystery tradition. Sacred symbols of the
I got
Dogon.
that.
The key to advanced science
One of them.
in the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics. The cosmological origin and the myth and symbols from the Dogon and the ancient Egypt to India, Tibet, and China, all written by Lord Stratton. Get this book,
Is it
of the
possible
Ages. And this is by Collins Robert Bolin, and he speaks about the Nomos. The Nomos are a race of beings that took on the physical form of dolphins, whales, and mermen. All right, now keep this in mind. A planet in the Sirius system full of warm aqua blue water was given to them as their home planet. When they did not take the form of dolphins or whales, many of the nomos walked upright in physical human like bodies. The nomos are advanced in their use with sound. Many etheric Syrians, the ethereal beings, are incarnated into dolphins and whale bodies on the earth at this time, and they are overlooked by the nomos, the guardians and guides to these souls. When the earth ascends, the etheric Syrians are the soul groups that will become the guardians. They were given Earth as their new home when they form a home. A planet near the star of Sirius B imploded. All right. So Sirius B imploded, and just like on Superman, we formed the bodies into macabres, and we began to planet jump until we finally came to the seventh planet, which is planet Earth. The sixth planet was the red planet known as Mars. All right. After 2013, many of the etheric Syrians, now in aquatic form, will have the option to take on human form while serving as the land guardians. This is who you and I are. We are the land guardians. Many, in the meantime, of returning to the Nomo home world for training on how to live in human bodies. Those humans walk the earth right now that are of the etheric Syrian soul group are usually attracted to the dolphins and whales, and many are in the organization which aims to heal the earth ecosystem and conserve its resources. Most of the etheric Syrians incarnate right now on earth are in black, red, and brown races. I didn't write that. These are Europeans telling you who you are. This is a new order for or of the ages. All right. Colin Robert Bolin. He said most of the etheric Syrians incarnated right now on earth as black, red, and brown races. In other words, you and I, the copper-colored races. This is the book I'm talking about, The Serious Mysteries, New Scientific Evidence of Alien Contact 5,000 years ago. Robert Temple. You don't believe that the Dogon had interaction with the Nomos? Then I suggest that you read the book. All right. The history of the Dogon tribe and the alien visitors from the Sirius star. You can get this book, this article, Liberty Writers Africa. I'm not going to read everything. The Dogon say that the first 8 ancestors, the Nomos, were amphibious beings. They looked like a cross between dolphins and humans, and they traveled from Sirius to Earth in a pyramidal shaped craft called the Corona. Now, y'all heard me the last time I spoke about the fact is that I had a lucid dream in which that I was being chased by a Bigfoot, Sasquatch, a Neanderthal. And as I was running, I jumped through a window. And as I jumped through the window, I was taken up on a pyramid-shaped craft. It was like, beam me up, Scotty. Okay. We continue on. UFOs. Alien contact cover up, mysterious triangular aircraft hovering above the Pentagon. What is this pyramid, or what is this triangular aircraft? This is the pyramid shape in which that I'm talking about. This is not just seen on the astral realm or astral plane. This is also seen on the physical plane. All right. A metal object shaped like a pyramid appeared over the Pentagon, Washington, D.C., the United States of America. And this is spoken of by Aliyah Pokoyeva, founder of the International Space Platform. Galactic Rika made an announcement at the United Nations meeting on December the 22nd, 2018, about possible contact with alien beings or extraterrestrial beings. Here is these pyramid-shaped crafts. So we're not joking around. This shit is real. And it's not coming from the government. They do have their technologies that they've been working on from crash sites such as Roswell and so forth and so on. But this is the real information here. So we have the Serious Mysteries, Robert Temple. We have the Serious Connection by Murray and Hope. And we have the Pale Fox by two Frenchmen. All right. Then you get this book, The Explorer Race, Earth History, and Lost Civilizations. It says when Earth was in Sirius. So at one time, Earth was in Sirius. Long ago, when this planet was still in the Sirius star system, the surface of the planet, its contours were similar, exactly the same, but similar. Some of the mountains you have here now was much taller. Some were still growing. Perhaps the most shocking or striking difference was that much of the planet was covered by water. So I spoke about, and you watched the movie Waterworld with Kevin Costner. 90% of the planet was water. Now it's only 75% because a lot of the land masses have grown up. So our bodies correlates with the earth in that sense of being 75% water. But at one time, we was 90% water. Okay. Wells. And when you read Matthew's 12th chapter, 40th verse, it says, Jesus replied, a wicked and adulterous generation demands a sign, but none will be given it except the sign of the prophet Jonah. All right. And we know that Jonah was in the belly of the whale for 3 days and 3 nights. Well, this is to the sun being inside of what is called Sittis, which is the well up in the sky. All right. And it represents the well that swallowed Jonah, which is the sun in the Old Testament for 3 days and 3 nights. Okay, Sittis is right there underneath the sun. If you can see it there. Cetus. All right. This is the reason why you have the Pope, the religious Mithra hat from Babylon, which is replica of the priests of the ancient Dagon or fish worship. And this is the reason why that the fish symbol is on the back of every good Christian car. All right. Of course, the fish is Ichthys, in which that symbolizes Christ, as we see here, or Ones, Dogon. The usual appearance of the creature was that of a fish, having a human head beneath that of a fish. The Masons hold that the grand festival on the day of St. John, not knowing that therein, they merely signified the fish god Ones, that first Hermes, the first Hermes, and the first founder of the mysteries, the first messenger to whom the apocalypse was given. All right. And that is the Nomo. Onus is Nomo. All right. Now, Credo Mutua, he spoke about the fact of working with the Kundalini, and this is how the South Africans refer to it as in his book, Africa's Hidden History by Credo Mutua. Credo Mutua states that my grandfather also taught me how to control my powers of seeing and how to sharpen them and make them more accurate and efficient. He taught me the art of breathing properly. He taught me the secret of art of joining my mind to that of the great gods of the unseen world. He taught me how to sit still, very, very still, and eliminate all thoughts from my mind and call upon the hidden powers of my soul. In short, my grandfather taught me the Zulu version of what is called an English meditation, how to breathe softly and gently like a whisper until you find something like a hot coil snake bursting through the top of your head, a fearsome thing that is known as the Umbelini. That Umbelini, my grandfather taught me, is the source and the primal source of the Sagama powers. And the Sagama powers must be able to summon the Umbelini at will through the beating of the drum and through meditation, very, very deep meditation. The Kung nation of Africa resided in the Kalahari Desert as one of the societies referred to as the Bushmen. All right. The Kung people have knowledge of the life force inherited in the human body. They would begin by engaging in long hours of ritualistic dancing. All right. This is very similar to the swirling dervishes of Sufism. The goal is to arouse noon, as in Nomo, all right, noon or life force, which is said to reside in the pit of the stomach. All right. You can also see the lower dantian, the navel chakra. All right. So Umbelini is a primal force used by Zulu shaman to connect their minds with the deities in the spirit realm, described as something like a hot coil snake bursting through the top of the head. All right. Of course, we know that snake is the Uraeus, all right, within the ancient Egyptian or Kemet or Temerian, is known as the Kundalini within the Vedic teachings. All right. All right. We know that the Kung people are the one of the oldest people on the face of the planet Earth. All right. Get this book, The Mother Plane. And I'm saying all of this because your Kundalini open portals, as we talk about your chakras open up portals in which that will allow for entities to come in and come out. In other words, you can actually bring ships here. All right. This is a known fact. But anyway, scientists believe there's 4 types of alien life found. This is Jesse Waters, and this is on Fox News. And these are the 4 alien types claimed by former CIA scientists. All right, the Greys, the Nordics, reptilians, and insectoids. Notice that they say nothing about the Syrian beings, the original beings who seeded the planet Earth. And this is the reason why I had to come out with this information, because they're not trying to tell us who we are. So I will tell you who we are. Okay? Brother Bobby Hemmett, you don't know who he is? Well, y'all need to look it up. All right? He's the one who dared get me restarted. Because I started around the same time he did, 87, 88, with this information. And it was in 95 on the steps of the Fulton County Library that Bobby Hemmett told me, man, there was more people doing this shit like me, man. We be about this shit in no time. And I was like, all right, Bobby, I'll do it. Because I was already teaching. But I moved down to Atlanta saying, nah, it's time to make some money. I got time to be down dealing with these niggas. And so Bobby was like, yes, you do. So
They don't. Some of these niggas don't listen. So
yeah,
I
right,
understand, but
right. So
it's bigger than us. I
I actually
understand.
have a question for you about that at the end.
okay, so Bobby is the one who got me restarted because, like I said, from 87, 88, all the way until 94, I was teaching. And then I called myself in 95. It only lasted about 4 months of my solo, making money. Um it lasted about 3, 4 months, and then I met Bobby in February. I moved down in December. So actually it was 2 months. I met Bobby by February, and then by the summertime, he was telling me that I needed to go back to teaching.
Mm.
And I've been doing it ever since. All right. So right here in the Goetia teachings, these magnetic sand-like particles are called um, actonia brain sand. Scientifically, they are known as DMT microcrystals, or what is called the pineal sites. It raise You can raise your kundalini, aka electrical current, in which that um, guide the glands underneath your chin, which is your barytheric gland. You can also feel it, um, flickering of your pituitary gland, as well as also the white light from the pituitary gland shines onto the pineal gland, in which that you have this oil in which that is produced by your pituitary gland, which is called HGH, human growth hormone. And then once white light hits the pineal gland, it produces DMT, or what's called pinoline, in which that is the land of milk and honey. The milk is HGH, the honey is DMT. So when those two come together, you are now in the land of milk and honey, known as the land of Canaan. Hence, correlation to Canis Major, which is known as Sirius. All right. That's the time now that we get serious. All right. As Jermaine Jackson said, let's get serious. All right, so that's the time for that. All right, so here we have right now. Let me come on down some and go through all of that. All right here in the center of your brain, right above the third ventricle, hovers a galaxy-like cloud, which is known as, well, they call it Neb-Heru, Nubiru. And this is mentioned within the 42 negative confessions of Mayat. Hail, Lord of the face, Neb-Heru, who cometh forth from the Nefesh fair, the Netchet fair. I have not judged hastily. So, what does Neb-Heru means? Neb means Lord, Master, Sovereign. Neb-Heru means Lord of faces. All right. The face or the name of one of the 42 judges. All right. So Neb-Heru or Neb-Baru is that galaxy-like cloud. So as above, so below, as within, so without. For those to reach Neb-Heru internally, you must raise Kundalini and become like Heru, in which that is external of you, can also be able to beam you up. As every temple that you go to in Egypt, you will find this symbol, which is of the wings, with the caduceus in the wings, and in the center you have the sun. That sun actually symbolizes the activation of the pineal gland, in which that your soul is embedded inside of, in which that is known as Heru,
Is that
right?
symbol the Kepara
You said the
with the
Kapara?
sun in the middle? Yeah, is that Kepara
Yes, it can
symbol?
also, yes, it can be Kapara. It can be called Nepiru or Nibiru. It is also, which is
Neberu.
one of the 42 judges. It is also called
Mm-hmm.
Washita or Usheta.
Yusheta.
Okay,
Okay.
Washita or Usheta.
Awesome.
All right,
I
Usheta
see.
or Washita, symbol of the winged sun disk. All right, and it symbolizes the goddess. So the Kundalini is the goddess or Set, and this goddess in which that beams you up is her sister Nebhet or Nebhiru. The masculine form of Nebhet is Nebhiru. All right. Dr. York gave us a system on how to transform the physical body into a ship or macabre, and the ascension is achievable when you unify through your heart center, all your chakras into one and balance the threefold flame within your heart, where God is through the universal omni macabre of love of multiple light bodies activation. This is written by Yogi Shara um, Nenanda. All right. And the visualization method in order to do this is to visualize a pebble being thrown in water, and you seen the rippling effects from that water, and then imagine yourself being in space and you being thrown, and then that rippling effect takes place, and that is the method of how to transform your body into a ship. There's also known as um, secret, the ancient secret of the flower of life by Giovanni Melchizedek, in which that he tells you about utilizing the 18 breath technique, the 20, the 24 breath technique, in which that you can transform your body into a macabre as well. All right. Now, I seen my first UFO when I was 9 years old, and I was living in these apartments right here to the left. And as I was walking down the street, a UFO hovered over top of my head about 100 yards. And the lights in which that was around this UFO was the same colors as the rainbow. All right, not the inverted rainbow that we see nowadays, but this was the rainbow in which that we normally see after rain. And these lights was going in and out around the ship. All right. Here's another aspect of the ship in which that I seen. All right. Now, what got me was that after I seen the UFO at 9 years old, I asked my mom to start ordering me these books. These are what's called the Time Life magazine books. And these books got me into the metaphysics, lost continents, UFO phenomenon, hidden realms, the science of healing, so forth and so on. I read these books on a daily basis. I got these books every single month. All right. And I got a lot of these books still left, even to this day from 9 years old. All right. They in my library. All right. Now, this was a letter in which that was given to me by Brother Jeremiah in Atlanta, Georgia, back in 2003. And this letter, Jeremiah said, was written by extraterrestrials, and they told him to give this to me. And that when I was ready, I would be able to read this letter. Okay. So here we have the Syrian ships. All right. So it's not just the triangle or the pyramid-like ships, but these are also Syrians or Syrian scout ships. All right, in which that comes out of these particular triangle ships or pyramid-like ships. And the Syrian ships are seamless because they are made of liquid metal. They are organic and sentient transported vessels. View portal appears and disappears on command. So your chakras, when you're activated, you can bring these ships into being or have these ships to disappear. All right. So we go to Saturn, and we know that on Saturn there is a giant red spot in which that symbolizes a cube shape. Hence, where we get Saturday from is from Saturn or Satan, in which that symbolizes Saturn symbolizes structure, physical discipline, as well as also blood and DNA structuring of the human anatomy of the physical body. No coincidence that the Kaaba in Saudi Arabia or Mecca, all right, is this same cube shape. Then there's the so-called Jews, all right, Jewish people, all right, wear this cube shape on their heads, as you see here, symbolic to the Sabbath. And this cube shape is all over the world as they are worshiping this within astrology, and they're taking it and running with it. And they got people scared of a planet, Saturn, all right, calling it Satan. Because they're doing all types of what they call evil shit to people on the planet. So here we have the Holy Bible, Old Testament, Genesis 6:1. Now it came to pass that when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters was born to them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they was beautiful, and they took wives from themselves, and all whom they chose. And the Lord said, my spirit shall not strive with man forever, for he is indeed flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. All right. There was giants in the on the earth in those days, and afterwards, when the sons of God came to the daughters of men, and they bore children with them. Those were the mighty men who were of old, men of renown. All right, you go to the book of Enoch, all right, the Ethiopian, all right, and this is written by Indu Kemet Kush, and you basically have the same story there, all right, and it goes on, and it came to pass that the children of men multiplying these days was born to them beautiful, comely daughters, and the angels of the children of the heaven saw and lusted after them, and said to one another, come, let us choose us wives from among the children of men, and begat us children. And Semajasa, who was their leader, said unto them, I fear ye will not indeed agree to do this deed, and I alone will have to pay the penalty of the great sin. And they all answered and said, answered him and said, let us all swear an oath and all bind ourselves by mutual imprecations, not to abandon this plan, but to do this thing. All right. They swore that all together and bound themselves by mutual imprecations upon it. And they were in all 200. All right. Now, this is metaphysically symbolic to the approximately 200 bones in your body. All right. That's why you have approximately 200 bones in your body, because of this rebellion of the 200 fallen angels or angels of light, who descended to the day of Jared on the summit of Mount Hermon. And that was called Mount Hermon because they have sworn and bound themselves by mutual implications upon it. And these are the names of their leaders. Simlese, their leader, Arikiba, or Kilba, Ramil, Kokabiel, Tamiel, Ramiel, Daniel, Ezekiel, Barikiel, and Azael, and Ramos, and Ramaros, and Betrael, and Nananel, and Zakiel, and Samasepel, and Satarel, Torel, Jamjael, and Sariel. These are the chiefs of 10. All right. And this is the same archdemons within the clip-off order. All right. These are the same 10 in which they speak about, as you can see here. All right. All right. So as you see, there's some changes, but you see Tash, Satarel, you see Samiel. All right. So these are those. Now get the book, The Ansar Cult, The Truth About Ansar Allah Community in America. Truth is Truth. Rebuttal to the Slanderers by Malachi York, known as Imam Isa at that time. And he spoke about these cherubims, or the 200 fallen angels, angelic beings, was followed. Iblis was now known by several other Hebrew names, such as Gibborim, Enakchin, Rephaim, Iming, and Zasumim, which were titles describe either beings of great spirituality or those possessed of much evil. In this group, there was also the wicked giants of the Anakim, or the Anunnakians, who were descendants of the Anak, the wife of Azrael. In the time of the prophet Noah, before the flood, those beings caused much evil and spread it on the face of the earth. Those demons in human forms corrupted the human beings morally, turning the minds of the men and causing them to indulge in every conceivable wickedness in an effort to gain more followers from Shaitan. Genesis 6:4 refers to these beings that come to earth as Nephilims.
Dr. Eileen,
Yes,
can we refer to those? Those are black beings you're speaking of.
yes,
Okay, so that's
yes.
going to lead to the question I have for you at the end. Okay.
Okay. And right here, we have the 200 names of those fallen angels to the right, which correlates to the 200 with the 200 bones in your body, approximately. All right. There's about 206 bones in your body. 200 of them bones symbolizes 200 of these particular fallen angels, or in particular, the most dense portion of your physical anatomy was manifestations of these 200 fallen angels in human form. In your human form, all right? That's what that is actually symbolic to. So the Nephilim, another name is also mental giants. The word Nephilim, or Nephilim, taken from the root Nephilah, meaning supergeratory, gifted, or gift, present, superregulatory, performance, being above, which is commanded, or a gift over, and shows what is next. They inhabit the realm of Salam, in which Melchizedek reigned over. The sons of Anak were Nephilim. They lived among Habron. All right. Deuteronomy 2:10. There was also Nephilim of the negative character, described by the Hebrew name Nephil. He fell. They were beings of an angelic nature who fell from grace. So there was a positive and a negative side of the Nephilim. All right. These skeleton figures represents just a few giant human remains unearthed and documented in the historical records, along with the historic account of Goliath, who had three brothers as big as he, Og, king of Bashan, whose bed was 13.5 feet long, and Maximus Durax, a Caesar of Rome. All right, so the giants in the days I've known was anywhere between 16 to 35 feet tall, and the giants before the flood was anywhere between 50. Before the flood was anywhere between 50 to 100 feet tall giants, if not more. All right, so here we have 6 feet 15, 8.6, 10.6, 12 feet, 19.6, 23 feet, 25.6, 36 feet tall. All right. All right. All these companies symbolizes the Saturn myth written by David Talbot, DirecTV, AOL, Explore, Saturn, CBS, Toyota, Time, Warner Cable, the UN, so forth and so on. All of this symbolizes that. And David Icke speaks about Saturn, and he speaks about the fact that Saturn and the moon creates what we now refer to as the Saturn-Moon matrix. All right, Saturn and the moon, the energy of both produces Saturn-Moon matrix, transform a once vibrant, conscious humanity into computer programs, decoding cycles of repetition, all right, perception and behavior. Okay. In fact, the transmission of Saturn-Moon matrix are received and retransmitted by the Earth crystal core, which has been tuned to the matrix frequency range, and the hack continues with us through the reptilian brain and the receiver transmitter system that we call DNA. This being us, this brings us back to the junk DNA, what Professor Sam Chang is repeating to have said earlier, that the overwhelming majority of human beings, human DNA is of off-world origin, and the extraterrestrial junk genes merely enjoy the ride with the hard-working active genes passed from the generations, he is quoted as saying. All right, so this Saturn-Moon matrix is what produces this matrix, as referred to it as. All right. So the Saturn and the reptilians are expressions of each other. They give us their mind. Now read again what I wrote earlier about the personalities of the left hemisphere of the brain. You know that the left hemisphere of the brain is logical and rational. The right hemisphere of the brain is more holistic. So anyone who exhibits more so left hemisphere brain thinking, they are more geared towards the reptilian brain, and they are slaves to this Saturn Moon matrix. All right. Now, this is Raleigh. I don't know if y'all ever heard of him, but he describes 7 types of extraterrestrials who resided in a mothership near Saturn. All right, you have the Barovarian, the aliens who had the most interaction with Martin. This is Martin Raleigh. Then you have the Zizinian, who are malevolent reptilians. You have the Stagians, who had a bony, leathery appearance. The Dorians, who resemble blonde-haired, blue-eyed humans, who they refer to as the Nordics. You had the Sexilian, aka the Screed, who were smart bugs 5 feet tall. So these were the insectoids. And the Nephtunians, who were water people with water bases on Earth. A seventh race of aliens who name Morton and a seventh race of aliens who name Morton can't pronounce. Okay. So who else say something about these? See, they try to make Martin Raleigh sound crazy. However, Norman Burgeon, who worked with NASA and NACA, wrote a book called The Ringmakers of Saturn. And he was being interviewed by this woman here to the left, and she asked him, well, how did these extraterrestrials look? And she said, dark-skinned people? And he said, no, black people. Black people. And about how tall were they? He said 7 feet tall and more. Okay. So here's his book on Ringmakers of Saturn. And here is a picture, infrared photograph of one of the gigantic celestial objects taken by Hubble in the rings of Saturn. That is a ship. And he's saying that on this ship were these beings. In the book, however, entities of voyage captured. These do, as you see, these do not look like black people. But these niggas do. Okay? So now, when they speak about the Anu people or Anu, they only give us that there was one person from the Anunnakian. He was Anu, and he was the ruler over all Anunnakian, which the word Anunnaki means those who came from heaven to earth. All right. Really, Anu means on high, and Naki, all right, means serpents. So it's talking about the on high serpent. It's talking about the Kundalini when it raises up to the third eye or to the crown chakra, third eye area, and you become illuminated, you become an Anunnakian. All right. Now, before Egypt, the Ma Confederation, Africa's first civilization, you can get this book written by Dr. Clyde Winters, and he speaks about the fact of the Anu people. All right. You can get another book called Return of the Ancient Ones, in which that speaks of the Anu people. Word right here, Anu equals the niggas in its original form, and it stands for divine Negroes or niggas and those who came down to earth from heaven. The Sirius star system is connected to the planet X, which is Nibiru, which is coming towards Earth, already came here or is here right now. So who is the Anu people? The Anu were the first and original people of this epoch of man's history as the original type 1 Homo sapiens. Well, who are they? Well, we show you who they are. These Anu Ethiopians. Right here, we have another by C.W. Ledbetter, 33 Degrees, The Hidden Life in Freemasonry. All right, Masons tell you the truth in their books. That pygmy race is a relic of the old Lemurians, all right, or Mu, and represents them more purely than any other people. The Lemurians were at one time a gigantic people, but in the process of dying out, they diminished in size. The African Bushman was also remnants of the same race, but with very mixed blood. And the same thing is true of those who are usually called the Australian Aborigines, except that in their case, there was a very light admixture of Aryan blood. At one time, the Pygmies were spread all a great deal more of Africa than at present. And some of them were the first people to enter Egypt. And here they are. The like niggas to me. So here in the book, Gods and the Spacemen in the Ancient West. This is written by W. Raymond Drake. All right. Not the Drake in which that you think of. All right. Or that damn bullshit singing. But anyway, we got
No,
the
he was
pygmies.
crying. He be crying now. He's angry and he crying. So no.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll take that. He crying now. All right. So right here, Raymond Drake states that the pygmies inhabited Earth for 30 million years. So these pygmies are the Anu people. This is who they're talking about. This is why he wrote the book, Gods and Spacemen in the Ancient West. And he was talking about the pygmies. These are the gods. Yeah, you see them, they're damn near butt negative, but these are the gods in which that you come from. All right. So they've been on Earth approximately 30 million years. Well, we have proof of that because here is a 28 million year old human skeleton. British Museum is now in the basement from the Caribbean islands of Guadeloupe. Okay. Human skeleton found in extremely hard 28 million year old limestone on the coast of French Caribbean island of Guadeloupe in 1812, belonging to a woman about 5 feet 2 inches tall. The fully human Guadeloupe woman skeleton is complete in every respect except the feet and head are missing. It is the authentic discovery which has been in the British Museum for over half a century. When the 2-ton limestone block containing Guadeloupe woman was first put on exhibit in the British Museum in 1812, it was first displayed as proof of the Genesis flood. In 1881, however, the exhibit was quietly taken down to the basement and remains there to this day. Okay, when my wife and I went to the British Museum back in 2008, right before Barack Obama became president, we asked the curator of the museum. He wasn't the head curator, he was just a curator. And we asked him, could we go down into the basement? He said that we would have to return in order for that to happen because the head curator was not there that day. And we explained to him that we came from North Carolina, so we traveled a long way. In other words, we was giving him some Masonic talk, and he understood. He said, however, if you want to know where more of your ancient relics are located at, he said, I suggest that you go to Scotland. All right. So get this book, The History of the Human Race, Forbidden Archaeology by Michael Cremore and Richard L. Thompson. All right. So now we have the Bantu people. So we know who the Anu people are. They are the Pygmies, the Twa people, but the Tahites. Now we have the Bantu people, who's the ethnic group. All right. And the Bantu people are the ones in which that 70% of us here in America have the DNA of. The Y haplogroup is E1B1A. So who is Bantu? Bantu is Antu. Antu was the wife of Anu. A Bantu simply means the children of the people of Anu or Antu. In the event, Africans came to be known as Bantu, meaning Antu's people. Cultural historians actually attest to the fact that the ancient Africans revered a goddess more than they did a god. Okay? We come down. This is the link to the Sumerian civilization. The link to the Sumerian civilization in southern Africa simply cannot be ignored or erased. They can even be traced with etymology to the names and the origin of the indigenous people. The most obvious evidence of the mysterious origin of the name Abantu, the name commonly used by the described Black Southern Africans or South Africans, according to Credo Mutua, the name is derived from the Sumerian goddess Entu. Bantu simply means the children or the people of Antu. So now we know who the children of Antu are, who's the wife of Anu, and now we know who the Anu people are, who are the 12 other people. So when they speak of the Sumerian tales and they speak of Anu and Antu, these are the people that are from that heritage. And as we see, these are dark-skinned people. You see? So where's the European at in any of this? He's not. Okay. So we go to Tiamat, Earth, Meldek, and Malona. Get the book Other Tongues and Other Flesh, written by George Hunt Williamson. This is what he says about Meldek. Hundreds of thousands of years ago, there was another planet in the solar system about the size of Earth, which made it an orbit between Mars and Jupiter. It was a green, prosperous world inhabited by people who had not reached a state of really advanced culture, but had nevertheless obtained a stage which afforded a abundance of necessities which made their life comparably comfortable for all. They studied the philosophies and dabbled in the sciences as we do today, or do we? Except that these people were more advanced in many ways than we are. The planet was so highly mechanicalized that robots their care of all the menial tasks like they're trying to do now. The inhabitants had discovered a rudimental form of space travel and could control their weather so that their droughts, famine became less long forgotten. The majority having an abundance of food and having no menial tasks to perform soon became content for a while away with the time of the sun. They became, in comparison with high planetary culture, a selfish, lackadaisical people seeking only their own enjoyment, as do the majority of people on Earth today. Then the disease came. It probably started subtly in the minds of those few men of science and who shunned the procrastinating majority in a feverish fervent search for material conquest, thus leaving themselves open to incurable affliction. The mental disease manifested itself as lust for greater power. They found it. They exploded a hydrogen bomb and completely destroyed the planet Modic and murdered the whole populace in one blinding flash of searing flame. All there is now left of this beautiful planet is the asteroid belt. The people who inhabited Modic were suddenly released onto the different etheric planes. According to the perfect law of karma, these people had to reincarnate again under strict limitations until another planet in the solar system, the Earth, was approached. Now, what happened is that we created the ape species for they can inhabit, all right, called the great apes. The Europeans and Asians are part of that great ape species. They're not human. They're mankind. Okay? Now, you had the orangutan, 3 DNA series, the gorilla, 4 DNA series, the chimpanzee, 5 DNA series, then the European or Albion and the so-called Asian, 6 DNA series. So they can only get up to the sixth chakra, all right, unless they have mixed in more so with us, all right, or humans, and they develop a seventh chakra system, or 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 they mixed in with the Anunnakian, um, and became humans through the seven chakra system. This is the reason why those who have both, who are Syrian beings, the etheric Syrian beings that have the nine ether, or what is known as the epiphany gland and the barytheric gland. This is why it's important that they mix with those who have the epiphany gland and the barytheric gland, so that they won't fall down into becoming an Anunnakian or becoming a human, because that's what they become if they mix their seed with an Asian, or if they mix their seed with a European albion. This is about frequency, vibration. Okay? Now, so the people who inhabited Modic were suddenly released onto the different etheric planes. According to the perfect law of karma, the people had to reincarnate again under strict limitation, and that was strict limitation because they had to come back as they had to come for the bodies that we created for them. They had to become as the orangutan, as the gorilla, as the chimpanzee, as a European, as an Asian, on up, until they reach the ninth level. The gods made an appeal to the earth as an intelligence, asking if she would be willing to take compassion upon the killers of Modic and agree to their reincarnation upon her back. In her great merciful compassion, she agreed, thereby accepting thousands of years of limitation so that these lesser life forms could gain essential experience. The gods then approached the true inhabitants of Earth, a highly cultured race of individuals called Adamic man, who also agreed to cooperate with the coming to Earth of these people from Modic. Gradually, those too lazy to stop the shocking cosmic crime of the destruction of Modic, and those who had actually brought it out about, were reincarnated upon Earth. Adamic man stayed for a time, giving instruction, guidance, and help, and then, in accordance with divine law, left the new inhabitants of Earth to their own devices. No, we still here. We are the ones who have the nine etheric, have the epiphany gland, have the barytheric gland. We are the custodians, the guardians. In other words, this is hell, y'all. All right, this is hell that you're in. All right, this is called shul. All right, within the Hebrew, which means school. All right, and we are the teachers. All right, we are within hell or the prison. This is prison planet. Our Earth is a prison planet. We are also the detention officers, the correctional officers. Okay, so let me say that also. All right, now we go to the moon. The reptilian military base is inside the hollow moon. All right, this is what we found on the moon allegedly. All right, was an aircraft that was 1.5 billion years old. This is a system that was found in the aircraft. All right, 1.5 billion years old. This her without the apparatus on her face. As you see her third eye, that's what she used as the apparatus in order to guide the ship. And she has the gold skin, just like the Sand people or the Sand tribe, which is the world's most ancient race traced in DNA studies. All right. Malcolm X said something that was very important concerning the moon. You get Black Man's History by Malcolm X, December 1962. Any information that the white man doesn't know about. So we think that the beginning of the white man meant the beginning of everything, us too. we're not aware that we were here before he was made. Can you understand that? The Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that 66 trillion years ago, trillion. How much is trillion? Not hundreds, not thousands, not millions, nor billions. But 66 trillion years ago, the black man was here. We have the sun, which is the center of the universe. 36 million miles from the sun is a planet we call Mercury, and 67,200,000 miles from the sun is a planet we call Venus, and 93 million miles from the sun is a planet that you and I live on called Earth. 141,500,000 miles out here is a planet called Mars, and 483 million miles from the sun is a planet called Jupiter, and 886 million miles from the sun is a planet called Saturn, and on down the road a piece or a couple more planets. So right here, this planet that you and I live on, Earth, rotates around the sun. Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that 66 trillion years ago, our people were living on this planet. All right, of course, it wasn't this planet. It was the moon, this planet, which was 3 times the size, called Tiamat. The black man was living on this planet, but in those days, it was larger than it is now. That's what he's talking about. And the planet Mars, that was off here beyond it, had a effect upon our planet then in the same manner that the moon affects us today. At this time, there was no moon up there. There was, where was the moon? The moon was down here. The moon was part of this planet. And the moon and this planet were one planet. And the black man was living here then. He was a scientist. He had a wave. A wise black man. Black men had always been wise. Black men have always been the wisest being in the universe. And among these beings, black beings, there is on one who is supreme. He is referred to as the supreme being. Do you understand? All right. So he spoke about the moon, and he goes on. So Elijah Muhammad, Honorable Elijah Muhammad said his filled the earth and the planets with high explosive and set it off where it was exploded. The pieces that you and I today call the moon and tossed it out there into space and rotated around the earth. It still rotates around the earth. It came from the earth. It was blasted right off the earth. As it was blasted right off the earth, it turned over and over and over all of the water that was on its stay with the earth, so that the pieces that was blasted out there had no water. So today, because it had no water, that is, had no civilization on it, nor has no life on it. You can't have life where there is no water. There's no life. Where there is no life, there's no civilization. Can you understand that? All right, now we're going to get into something else. All right, this was his understanding coming from Elijah Muhammad. However, let's go to Creed Mutwa. I range Zulu Shaman Creed Mutwa, the oracle of African legends and accounts, to ask what he said about the moon. I didn't tell him what I was putting together at that point. I only asked for any Zulu or any African legends about the moon. He said that the Zulu lore and other African accounts say that the moon was built far, far away. Zulu myths say that the Shatari manipulated the earth from the moon. In other words, same thing that Malcolm said about basically about it blowing up, where the Python live, Python, and that these people was warned not to upset the moon. It is said that the sun is forgiven, but never the moon, he is told. Zulu legend symbolizes the moon as an egg because they say that it had been hollowed out. They said that the two leaders of the Shatari, known to the Zulus as Wowane and Mpuku, stole the moon from the great fire dragon Tiamat and emptied out the yoke until it was hollow. Then they rolled the moon across the sky to the earth hundreds of generations ago. It was said that the moon was a home of the python, the Shatari. Um, remember how the ancient Sand people said that the humans were created by the giant python who came with his bag of eggs to the Zodello hill. The symbolism of the moon as an egg was widespread in the ancient world, and it is said that the Semiramis Ishtar, the Babylonian goddess, came from the moon in a giant moon egg and landed in the Euphrates River. This later became known as Ishtar egg. Now, she came from the moon, and it actually was two of them that they discovered on the moon. All right, get this book, Earth, Pleiades Keys to the Living Library and Bringers of the Dawn, written by Barbara Messinek. And this is what she says. The communication spoke of here, a reptilian race that manipulated humanity. I met Barbara a few times and liked her a lot. She's grounded and not at all airy-fairy. I had read her books, Bring Up the Dawns, which was excellent, but I had not yet read Earth. When it arrived to the post, I went to the page numbers, the email, and told me about, well, this is where the book said was communicated through Barbara Masinak. The moon is a very powerful electrical computer. The Earth, the energy from the moon had been beamed electrical magnetic frequencies onto the Earth for eons, now to maintain the two-strand DNA that is said to have been 12-stranded. The moon is a satellite that was constructed. It was anchored on outside Earth atmosphere for eons as a mediating and monitoring device, a supercomputer or eye in the sky. Earth must have owned by those who dwell there. However, it is not. You have outside gods, created energies, who prevent you as a species from having free reign with your Kundalini. The influence of the moon as a main satellite computer affects all of the Earth. The moon programs have for eons been of a great limitation towards human beings. These are repetitive cycles that the moon recreates to which you respond. All right. Now, this is George Gurdjieff, and this is what he says. All movement, actions, manifestation of people, animals, and plants depend upon the moon, and we are controlled by the moon. The mechanical part of our lives depend upon the moon, is subject to the moon. If we develop in ourselves consciousness and will, and subject our mechanical self and all our mechanical manifestations to them, we shall escape the power of the moon. So this is precisely the Saturn moon matrix operates within the frequency range of the mind, the electromagnetic spectrum, and low vibration emotions. All right. So we get this book, Secrets of Our Spaceship Moon. All right. And this is what it says. If we are to believe the two sovereign scientists of the renowned Sovereign Academy of Science, there is a whole world of evidence that the moon itself indicates that not only was there intelligent life on the moon at some indeterminate time in the past, but intelligent life that has been living inside the moon for eons. The evidence they have led them to believe that the moon may have a hollowed out spacecraft of a sort, steered into orbit around our Earth eons ago. All right. Get this book. Nobody else is somebody else on the moon. This is George Leonard. So remember, I'm saying all this because They just told you that they went to the moon. But this time they didn't land on the moon. They just went around the moon, right? They went around the moon and took pictures. All right, this is what they claim. But anyway, origin of the moon. By now you know the strange place of the moon is. How is should not even be there. Its origin is even stranger. People used to believe that it got torn out of the earth due to the fantastic stress way back in the early history. The Pacific Ocean is usually selected as the breakaway point. All right. But few believe this anymore. Thank God. Nowadays, its leading theories are accredited for the dust and in the matter of the same time, the Earth and the other planets formed, making it a true sister planet. It was a wandering asteroid in space, a thing of rage and terror, and got captured by Earth orbit when it came too close. Okay. So in the book, Somebody Else is on the Moon. It speaks about beacons, signals, and problems of communication. All right. They say radio transmissions. And they show you satellites, as you see here, on the moon. These are buildings. All right. Theories regarding the potential purpose of the moon's spry structure vary. Some believe that it's simply an ancient alien artifact from a former civilization which colonized the moon thousands of years ago, possibly before colonizing Earth. All right. So that would be billions of years ago. As we've seen, allegedly the sister was on the moon 1.5 billion years ago. All right. So here, although the charred, irregular surface may lead some to believe it is a natural formation of some sort, a frame from Apollo 10 video, or it captures something even more inexplicable, known today as the castle from the Hoagland Castle, or a Hoagland, as in Richard Hoagland. The object represents a huge, multi-columned artificial structure, except that it is over 9 miles tall. Ancient Aliens on the Moon by Mike Barra. Theories regarding the potential purpose of the moon spire. It shows again two distinct castles from two different versions of NASA frame. We have antennas and we also have buildings. This is also a antenna. As you see, look at that shadow. Yet another image appears to be a communication antenna, perhaps used for communicating between the underground alien base of the moon and their home world. The image of this left is the real image captured by orbiting spacecraft, and the image of the right is the possible reconstruction as how this antenna might actually look up close. Okay. Go and watch Arthur C. Clarke's famous movie 2001, Space Odyssey. And you can see the similarities with the monolith here to the left and what was in the movie. Close up, this is the view of Apollo 17 landing site in a hexagonal shape, as you see. Alien threats from the moon, evidence from ancient and alien life by Dylan Clearfield, where it appears to be some form of highly complex mechanical device performing some type of activity in the bottom center of the crater. It seems almost too amazing to be true. We must wonder, how could this obvious anomaly have possibly escaped NASA's sensors? All right, Beyond Reality, special UFO report. You can get this. And right here, it says the theory that sent shockwaves through the scientific world. Sovereign scientists claim that our moon is a spaceship. All right, that's what this is talking about. Now I get to Mars, life and death on Mars, the new Mars synthesis, mass extinction and nuclear catastrophe on Mars. It's written by John Brandenburg, PhD. All right. And then, of course, we know that Modic had nuclear catastrophe. We just read that. And Modic was next, next to Mars. And it's nothing more than an asteroid belt now. And this is what blew Mars off the map. The surface, that is. Get this, The Martians by Nick Redfern, evidence of life on the red planet. Of course, we go to the books, but we're going to go back to our ancestors who say what's going on. The Zulu Bone Oracle, all right? And the entrance point is the Zulu claim Earth as their seventh world. In their sixth world, the planet Mars, the forerunner of the Zulu and called Southern African tribes, were severely threatened by a powerful foe from another world and saw that the chances of saving themselves were slim indeed. They proceeded to prepared their weapons and then was one step further in an attempt to save the race. The fairest of all the women were impregnated by their male folks and then placed into circular flying vehicles, each with 3 wheels. These space vehicles were known throughout Central and Southern Africa as Merkabas or Macabas. The Merkaba were sent off on course to Earth. This is the same story as Superman. And thus were the women transported to safety on their planet to give birth to their offsprings and continue the race. This is what is stated by Kudamutua in the Zulu Bone Oracle book, all right, by Lulu Fudu. Now, scientists discovered that the human circadian rhythm is set to Mars. So your rhythm is not even set to Earth. It is still set to Mars. All right. So are we extraterrestrials? Well, this is what Elijah Muhammad said about it. It's our Mars and our people. So God taught me. Our Father made it Mars with some type of intelligent beings like ourselves. All right. Elijah Muhammad. You can order the Mars book. All right. We know the face is on Mars. This is in the Sidona. No coincidence that it's called Sidona. But anyway, we got Melvia Miller, The Midtown Roots. In this book, there are many books on this subject. Also, there is a book written by Elijah Muhammad, leader of the Nation Islam, about this topic. Elijah Muhammad taught about life on Mars and other planets for more than 30 years. He claimed a great black scientist that came to Earth from outer space who had great scientific knowledge and their create civilization on Earth millions of years ago. He claimed that the scientists on the planet Mars had built a face that is seen through our telescopes. All right. This is frame 35A72 NASA image of Sidona in 1976. And you can see the face here to the bottom right. This is pyramids on Mars, as you see here. These are artificial structures on Mars, buildings, arches. Elijah Muhammad, in accepting the tremendous mission of re-educating the human family, provided facts after facts, profound knowledge that has could not have known with only a fourth grade education. Elijah Muhammad knowledge continued to baffle scholars and researchers in 2006. Today, the truth that Elijah Muhammad expound can be seen in every major university in the United States. In fact, most of the universities in this studies are actually verifying that Elijah Muhammad taught back in 1934. The scientists and scholars are just catching up to the things such as life on Mars, genetics, astronomy, biology, communication, mathematics, history, as well as other subjects that Elijah Muhammad had revealed 75 years ago. For example, Elijah Muhammad taught about the planet Mars as being an inhabited planet that had intelligent life. According to Elijah Muhammad, these intelligent beings lived under the ground, and when they're here, these man-made contraptions, they go underground. Muhammad made the following comment in 1972 during the Theology of Time lecture series. Now he making instruments to look at civilization on Mars. Well, when he see what's on Mars, he won't see no mark of his. It's our Mars, our people. So God had told me. He didn't know that we were there until a few days ago. He used to look at Mars and just call it a star, and that's all. But our fathers made it with intelligent beings like ourselves. They walk on 2 feet or hind. They are not animals. They are intelligent people. The mark that we are on Mars are not the ignorant, silly, and uncivilized people. They show signs of civilization and they look similar to us. Not exactly, but they look similar. They walk on 2 feet and they are not white folks. All right, this is Hakeem, 1997, page 319. So here they are. You want to see them? Here they are walking. They're like a nigga to me. And here they are, the Bantawana people, the ostrich people from Mars in Africa. Okay. This is a tribe in Zimbabwe called Vodoma, and they carry genetic ectodactyl defect in which they only have 2 toes, comparatively with ostrich claws. People in this tribe are prohibited from marrying and having marital relations with people outside the tribe. They use their feet to their advantage to climb trees and gather food. The Vodoma do not see this as a genetic defect, but rather a blessing that is passed on from generation to generation. Now, new studies documents depleted uranium impact on children in Iraq. Well, guess what? The children in Iraq developed the same characteristics. So this shows that that Mars were under attack by nuclear warfare. Look at that. See, this is how you put this information together. So scientists discovered human circadian rhythm, as I said, is set to the solar day cycle or daylight cycle on Mars. This is what it's set to. All right. So I'm going to stop right there. Are there any questions concerning anything that I've gone over?
Oh my. Of course, there's questions. I don't see any in the chat yet. Now's a good time to put your questions, y'all. But I had a question when we were talking about, let me go back, I wrote it down. We were talking about the children of Enki
Right.
or Enlil,
Mhm.
and thinking about wasn't there also An or Anu, aka Tahuti? Is
Right.
that Anu is a direct relative of Tahuti, or is
Yeah.
Anu
Tahuti would be Inky.
Inky? Okay.
Right.
So now they're
Atlantean.
all races, Inky and Enlil, but it seems that the children of Enlil are the negative ones, and it's
Right.
supposed to be the children of Inky are the
Right.
angelic beings. Is that how that
Right.
goes?
Essentially, yes.
Now, how would we? Of course, we would be able to distinguish within our
We are
own
able to distinguish the
community.
Nephilims. Yeah, we're able to distinguish the
Mhm.
Nephilims and those who carry the Nephilim genes because they have 6 toes or 6 fingers.
Okay.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
So if we're born with 6, because my mom was born with
Right.
6 fingers,
Right.
and they
I was
took
born
one
with
off.
6 fingers
So what is
on
what
this
does that
hand.
mean?
Right.
My
Right.
mom was too. Oh my
So
goodness.
that is
So what does that mean?
that's the remnants of the Nephilims, i.e., the Watchers.
Wow.
Mm. All
Yeah, I
right,
was born with
Yorani.
6
So I
fingers
got the
too.
Watcher
6 and
DNA.
more. Yeah, I was born with 6
Wow.
fingers.
Yeah.
My parents
Yeah.
cut them off when I was born.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool info. Lots of people have that then. So
Right.
when we talk about cleaning up our community and
Now
getting
remember, there was 2 branches of Nephilims. You had the positive and you had the negative.
that's what I'm getting at.
The positive was more of the mental giants. So this is why y'all are able to absorb this information to this level because y'all part of that branch. There's a negative branch in which that
Mm.
became the physical giants, and they're the ones in which that some survive after the flood, in which that is now reawakening.
Okay. So we could also say that when we talk about like ancient Kemet and whatnot, which would, and then we have all the Twa and we have all the other African star nations.
Right.
Wouldn't you say that Kemet is a lot older than what they say?
Of course, because ancient Egypt is the kingdom, but the ancient Egypt empire was here in the Americas called Atlantis.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where
Right.
Thoth came from. Enki was here in the Americas. There's no coincidence that they
Okay.
found a Sphinx in Memphis, Tennessee, or they found
Mm-hmm.
King Tut egg with hieroglyphics on it in Idaho, or they found the 18 temples in the Grand Canyon, because this was the
Right.
empire of Egypt or the Atlantean Empire. And the Egyptians left from here and went into the kingdom, which they now call Egypt, in Africa. But they came
Right.
from here.
So the Americas
This
is
is
way older than Egypt. The empire is
right.
older than what's
Yes, the empire is
in
older than
Egypt.
Egypt. Yes.
Wow. Which is probably why they took the monument and put it over there in Washington, and then in
Right.
Central Park is another second, I guess you
Right.
call it.
Right.
They have them all over.
All over.
know.
Right. Right. St. Petersburg Square in
Right.
Catholic Catholicism in the church. They have it
So
in
it seems
London. They have it in
right.
London. Yeah.
Mm.
So
So
we know the military branch is Washington, D.C. The
Mhm.
religious branch is Rome, i.e., the Vatican. And we know that the
Mhm.
financial is London. And they all 3 have Tekkens or Tekkenus in those areas,
Okay.
which symbolizes the phallus of Osiris or Osar.
Mhm. So in our community, like this is just so much greatness, too much greatness, and now we're back 10 toes down, and
Mm-hmm.
dysfunction in our community is crazy. I know that's what they tend to show us a lot more of, and we know that there's a lot of good going on within our communities, but it's no secret that we do need to tighten up. We need to unify. We need to stop having all these different sects and titles and this and that keep us from coming
Right.
together on a larger scale. Would you say this is like attributed to a deeper thing, DNA wise, as far as the two, Inky and Enlil, at odds or whatever?
Yeah.
Are we
Well,
at odds with it?
right. Well, you remember they had different mothers, but the same father. So that is symbolic to, similar to the same fighting that we seen with Cain and Abel, the same fighting that we seen with Jacob and Esau,
Right.
over and over again. This is always brothers fighting each other, over some type of, resource.
Mm,
Right.
mhm.
You think
And
we'll ever get it together?
well, in Inky and Enlil case,
Somewhere.
I mean, Inky made us to be higher than them because they're only eighth etheric beings. We are nine etheric beings. So technically, we are higher than them.
So we should be able to get things in order.
Right.
We should be able to,
Exactly.
without subjugation, because it seems like supposedly the higher being always seems to take the lower being into some
Right.
sort of subjugation, but we're
Exactly.
gonna have to figure that out. Yami, you got any
Yeah.
questions?
Well,
No, I'm
sorry,
still trying
go ahead,
to process everything that I'm hearing. I'm taking
I didn't
in
mean to cut your wisdom, brother Alim.
oh no,
What were you
I'm
gonna
good.
say?
Yeah, go ahead, Yami.
Okay.
Oh, listen, I'm taking in everything that you was saying. I was taking screenshots. I'm taking notes.
Right.
It's just, this is more proof that this is our planet. This is our
Right.
solar system.
Right. The
This is our
universe.
solar system.
Yeah.
Right.
Literally. And
Right.
all we have to do is meditate and connect.
Exactly.
And we'll be able to, we'll take over. We'll
Bring
literally
bring the ancestors here. This is why they try to keep us so distracted.
Right. Right.
Why they try to block out the sun with these artificial clouds called chemtrails or bioengineered clouds. This is why they put fluoride in the water. This is why they have bioengineered ingredients in the food called GMO. Everything is to try to stop our transformation, our ascension, our return of Christ. That's what it is.
Yeah.
But they're going to be defeated regardless.
Right.
Dr. Deborah Blair used to tell us that Dr. Deborah Blair
Mm-hmm.
used to tell us that it's like an ant trying to hold back a tidal wave. Imagine that.
Right.
Dr. Alim, do you have any practical tips for us that we could use on a daily basis? We say meditate, but there's those of us that have never done it. So what could you tell us about how to combat some of the chemtrails and whatever we can do?
Right. The thing is to strengthen your auric field. And the best techniques is called pranayama or pranic healing, in which that you can use 6363 or 7171, or what is also called empty retention. So 6363 is that you would breathe in for 6 seconds. Hold it for 3. Out for 6. Hold it for 3. And you do that 100 times. It takes you about 45 minutes. Or you can do 7171, the same. Breathe in for 7 seconds, hold it for 1 second, breathe out for 7 seconds, hold it for 1 second, 100 times. Or you can do empty retention. Don't worry about the length of what you breathe in. Just hold it for 1 second, breathe out, hold it for 1 second, do that 100 times. And what happens is that your auric field becomes 5 times more magnificent than the average person's. In other words, the average person auric field is only 3 feet outside of them in diameter. When you do these practices, it becomes 15 feet outside of you. And it actually can grow up to a mile of more or more.
Mm.
And the more people come in
Now,
contact
can
with
that
Mhm.
be achieved on a not clean diet?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it can. I'm not going to front. I mean, it's faster if you had a clean diet, but yes, it can be accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
That's dope.
That's awesome.
So we can still do
some
that.
of us got to start at, where we can start.
Right. So when you're breathing, that will like calm your brain, right? It would just
Right,
like,
right.
okay.
Now, in order to synergize both hemispheres of the brain, you would do alternating nostril breath technique. You breathe in,
You hold one and okay.
Yeah, hold one nostril. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And out the other. Yeah. Breathe in one and bring it out the other.
Bring out the
right.
other. Okay.
So you would alternate nostril breath technique, and that would synergize both hemispheres of the brain. So that would mean that you would balance the brain system, the holistic brain with the linear rational brain, which is the left hemisphere. So the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere would become more synergized, more connected.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Yeah,
Any other questions, Yanni? I don't see anything in the chat.
Yeah, nobody's in the chat asking questions.
No, because I explained everything.
Yes, you did.
Yes.
Okay. And you didn't even get into everything that you had. You had so many
Right.
slides.
You know we're gonna have to go back and look
Oh
at
my
this
goodness, yes.
again, break it down, and maybe have some.
Yeah, I had
more
like another
discussions
100
about some of the
slides. I just
pieces
couldn't do it.
And within.
Right, we'll be here all night.
Oh my goodness, we're gonna have a part 2.
Okay.
Dr. Ling, please share your Cash App and share how they can purchase your book.
Right. You can purchase my book, Planetary Genesis, Stargate DNA, Human Extraterrestrials Origin, from my website, www.dralimlbey.com. You can give me a call at 910-364-9099. And we got a event coming up right in New York, June 27th, 2 o'clock. It's going to be in Brooklyn. I can send a flyer. Let me see. Maybe I can pull up the flyer right now.
Yes, please do.
Give me a second here.
You guys can take a screenshot.
Yep, take a screenshot.
Definitely, send it to Tanya so she can share it to me, and I'll put it on my page.
Okay.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, he's gonna put it on the screen so we can screenshot it also.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no. What's going on?
Yeah, I know I'm gonna do those chants. I took a screenshot of the chant that you said.
Oh my hung Vajra Guru Pima City hung.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get a copy of that. Even though I know some videos and whatnot, I can find the meditations. I have a lot of them too. How do you feel about doing them in the Kemetic language?
That's beautiful.
We have the Medu Netter version of the Hesi, Hesi.
Right.
I
Yeah.
that's my
With the
practice.
Hako.
But I also like I like Durga, Kali Ma meditations.
Right.
It all seems like they got it from Kemet. Like I
They
see the
did.
influence very heavily.
Right.
You know,
That's exactly where they
Everything.
got it from.
they've taken over yoga when yoga came from Kemet. Also,
Right. Exactly.
you know,
And y'all can get
Reiki
that from
and
Walter
all those things
Ashby,
came right from Kemet.
as well as my teacher, Yashir
Hmm.
Imhotep. Yashir Ra Imhotep.
Yes, I have
Comedic yoga.
Dr. Muta Ashby's
Yeah, you can also
Kemetic
get it
Tree of
from
Life.
right.
That's a very
Also,
good book.
his book, Egyptian Yoga Book 1 and 2.
Yes, I was looking at those. I
Mm-hmm.
definitely want the Egyptian yoga too. Yes, matter of fact, let me add that to my book list here. I
Mm-hmm.
definitely want to get the Zulu Bone Oracle
Yes.
real quick. So a lot of people are moving away from, oh, I don't have time to sit there and books and books and books. Dr. Arlene, tell them how important it is to always read. I don't, no matter about all of the technology we have,
Yeah, yeah.
you still have
We
to.
look. They can change. They just like they control the algorithms, and they make sure people don't come to me.
Yeah,
Okay,
me too.
because I'm one of the last Mohicans. Okay, it's only me and Baba Phil out here still
Right.
teaching
Yes.
this
That's right.
after 30 years.
Wow. Yes. So, okay, we have the flyer up. You take screenshots. We're
Okay,
gonna be in New York. That's is it Brooklyn?
Yeah,
with
Brooklyn.
us, you know, Brother Kaba is still here. Luckily, you can get information from him.
Okay.
Dr. Layla Africa isn't
Yes.
here any longer. Azariah, Brother Azariah isn't here any longer.
Right.
I can
Yes,
keep
I
going on and
know.
on and on. These are the brothers
Correct. Yes.
that I was with, that I was, teaching with, in the 80s,
Right.
in the 90s. You
Yes.
know?
Yeah,
So,
Brother Panic.
right,
Bobby Hemmett. Yes. I actually came into my consciousness, well, my remembrance, I like to say, because when I was a little girl, I was so infatuated with Kemet, looking at the anthropology books. You know, back then they had the real thick anthropology books, and I just remember being like so intrigued and blown away by all of the Kemet archaeology and stuff like that. And then you grow up and you
right,
get programmed in school and all that stuff, and somehow or another life
right,
brings it back to you. Something will happen or whatever, and
right,
begins to come back, or you meet somebody that's into it, and then they enlighten you. But it's been since 2010 for me.
right, right,
Yeah. And it happens fast when you were talking about how you can achieve purification in 2 years and whatnot. Like
right.
you literally sparked a lot with me with that, because I was like, why am I absorbing so much information?
Mm-hmm.
It's just been crazy how much information I had to absorb to really get this stuff out of to purge this stuff out of me. And like the whole church scene, the whole purge, like the information hit me so hard that it was like gone. It was out of here. I came home one day, packed up all the stuff, pulled all the crosses, all let sit down, threw that shit out my front door. I'll never forget that day. My family was looking at me like, "What in the world?" I said, "It just trust me. We're gonna get there, but it's gotta go." Like I literally threw it out my front door.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Now everybody gets it. Because
No.
once you get the information, first you get angry and pissed off that you have been passed down all these lies and whatnot. And then, you get the information, you get enlightened, then you start to feel sorry for your other brothers and sisters and
Yep.
ancestors and whatnot. And you kind of get it, you get it, how these things happen. And you don't have that anger towards your family and your ancestors and whatnot, because hey, they were doing the best they could with what they had. But
Right.
that's why they went through what they went through, so we can be here right now waking up. Yeah.
Right.
And Dr. Alim, did you give your cash app? Let me get your cash app. Is that how you take donations, or PayPal?
Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, you're on mute, Dr. Alim. I don't think I can unmute.
Yeah, you're muted.
Yeah, you're muted. Yeah, I think he sees it.
Mm-hmm. There it goes.
There you go. Yeah.
Right. I was saying that I don't have Cash App. I have
PayPal.
PayPal.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
And my PayPal is culturalfreedom@yahoo.com.
Cultural freedom at yahoo.com. You're one of the, what is it, 1 out of 10 people on the planet that still have Yahoo?
No, yeah, there's like a
I
few.
was
My dad still has a
I
Yahoo.
was teasing my daughter the
Cultural
other day too.
CUL.
Mhm.
The upcoming event will be on June 27th this month. All right, so come on out and support.
Yeah.
If y'all think this is some good information, this is nothing compared to what I'm gonna be teaching on in person.
Right. That's cool.
Ashe.
Yeah. I'm trying to make it.
At that weekend, I'm gonna
Right.
be in Atlanta. We have
Right.
a podcast we're doing in Atlanta on the 27th. So I definitely would try to make it. But hopefully
Okay.
we can get you out here to Baltimore if we can get,
Yeah.
enough people. Yeah,
Sound
because
good.
we got to get this information going. I'll
All right.
definitely keep in contact, and we can discuss something if we can find a location or whatever.
All right. Sound good to me.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
remember, y'all
Cool.
want to call me at 910-364-9099 for the tickets and any information concerning the lecture on June 27th.
Okay, I'm gonna put that
in
number
New
in the chat if you don't mind.
York.
Okay.
I wrote it down. Where did I write it?
There we go.
In Brooklyn. We're gonna be there and we're gonna tear that.
Okay. Where's my book? Where's my notebook? Where's my book?
Okay. I'll put that info in the chat for you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, cool.
Okay.
Yes, definitely are so grateful for you coming on at such short notice. Dr. Eileen was like, sure, let's do it. I was blown away, like, oh my gosh.
Right.
You definitely made one of our podcast dreams come true, and you are so appreciated.
Yeah, I
I know
appreciate
you've
you.
been on
Thank you.
since 7, and you've got things to do. So whenever you're ready to end, that will be great.
All right. Well, I appreciate everyone. Appreciate y'all for bringing me on. And like I said, y'all contact me if y'all interested in coming to the lecture. 910-364-9099. know,
Yes.
good time. Come on out and
Yes.
support.
Definitely.
Exactly. In the New York area, definitely come out and support
Right.
for
Definitely.
sure.
Okay.
We gotta support stuff like this, and we have to support each other, because
Yes.
Right.
they're definitely giving out some crazy information out there, and we gotta support those that we know got the real stuff. So
Yes. And
absolutely.
we have to have more think tanks off of the internet because we
Right.
can't have the enemy
Right,
knowing what we're doing.
Exactly.
You know.
right.
You
And
know.
always in our information and keeping
They're
up with what
always in
we're
our
doing.
business 24/7.
Always. They are
Right,
obsessed
right.
with
We are
us.
the business.
They are
there
obsessed
there
with
is
us.
no business
Yes.
without us, right?
Right.
According to what we heard tonight,
Right.
right? If we get
Hello.
up off the planet, they got
That's right.
8,000 years to rock out, and then it's a
Right.
Wait
wrap.
a minute. Wait a
Maybe
minute.
not even that.
If that. Right.
I wanna
Right.
see.
Exactly.
Did y'all ever see the George Clinton movie Cosmic Slop?
Oh yeah.
At the
Yes.
beginning, we had
Yes.
the black people. They were saying that how the aliens are coming to pick us up,
That's right.
and then they just
Hmm.
left us with they sent us off into
Right.
outer space. They was just beaming us up, but then that
That's
was
right.
it. But then they
That's
had a
right.
smile. The white people had a smile on their face because they had the planet
Hmm.
to themselves.
Right.
I'm like, oh my goodness. Once I found out about this information, I'm like, oh, so we left so we could just blow up the planet and
Right.
start over.
Right.
Well, I feel like Earth is a being herself, you know what I mean? So she's just gonna get busy with swallowing them up big time. They think they're
Right.
gonna be
Right.
on the beach
Sun is gonna
chilling.
disintegrate them.
Gonna have squids and all kind of stuff coming.
Hmm.
Right. Oh
Yeah.
man, this is
It's just
wonderful.
like they
This
were
is
talking
really
about some other island that what is it, Jared Kushner and his wife are buying some island somewhere, and I think that's their escape. That's their little escape island. It's
Right.
in the middle of the Mediterranean. Who would want that?
Right.
They're gonna get
listen,
swallowed up by the flood.
they're gonna get swallowed up. Yeah. Yeah. If
Crazy.
not,
Wherever they go,
a
it's
shark is gonna eat
underground.
them.
There's something for them there.
Hmm.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
Dr. Arlene, before you go, one more quick question. They claim to be on the planet for 6,000 years. I
Right.
think it's less than that for the
Well,
Caucasians.
in the form that they're in right
6,000?
now, it's only 3,000 years.
Oh, see.
Okay.
Yeah, it's only 3,000 years that they've been in
That's
this
what I
form
was
that they're in
thinking,
now.
that it was a
The
lot less.
resets now the receptivity that they possess, the blue eyes, the light skin, the blonde hair, all of those was featured over the 3,000 over 6,000 years, but they never accumulated into one physical body until 3,000 years ago.
Mm.
So
Wow.
when you seen a pale skin, blonde hair, blue eyed person, that was the first 3,000 years ago. But even though the receptivity, they were recessive 6,000 years ago, but all of that didn't accumulate until 3,000 years ago.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm,
So
wow.
you, so yeah, you're absolutely correct.
Listen, we are their mamas and
Definitely.
fathers, okay?
Right,
All right.
Yeah. You have to start acting like it, though. There is a lot of dysfunction for
right,
gods and goddesses to be running around in the situation. So we just got to keep working with each other. I'm trying to do a literacy program here in Baltimore, trying to finish creating the curriculum and
right,
figuring out, how to start and where to start teaching adults how to read. So I will be
right.
reaching out for whatever tips and this and that I can get from, those that
Okay,
have been teaching a lot
right.
longer than me. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I can't imagine that it would be a little bit awkward, But
Right.
we'll figure it out.
No doubt.
Definitely. Definitely.
All right, Scarberian family. We are
All right.
wrapping up Cosmic Bloodlines with Dr. Alim Bey. Yes.
Peace,
Yes.
y'all.
Thank you so
Like
much
and
for coming.
subscribe. Yes, thank you for coming.
Yes.
Like
Thank
and
you,
subscribe to the
Yami.
channel. I had put Dr.
And share.
Alim's. Yes, share it, share the live. And I had put your YouTube page, and I'll put it again.
Thank you all.
You're very welcome.
The YouTube page. Yes. Thank you, Yami.
I got the YouTube page. I'll put it up again. Yes.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah. You guys, we'll have the comments on replay so you could come back and get the information.
Right.
So definitely.
Yes.
And I'm going to, we'll move out with the outro and then we'll slide from there, y'all.
All righty. Yes.
Peace and love.
Peace and love. Peace and blessings, family.
Yeah. It's for the healers. It's for the thinkers. This for the men and women trying to love again. Scarberian Queens. Tanya 23 experience. Yummy Bula, let's talk. Scarberian Queens, we bringing truth to the scene. Not just opinions, we building solutions and dreams. From pain to purpose, yeah, we breaking old routines. Trying to heal black love, men and women in between. Scarberian Queens, let the ancestors speak. Motherly laws bring the village back to the streets. We ain't here to fight, we here to teach and to reach where we can rise together. Soul to soul, heart to beat. It's the Tanya 23 experience, voice of the mothers. Trying to stop us from seeing each other as enemies, brothers. Some of us hurt, some of us tired. Some of us only know survival, not desire. I seen mamas cry, I seen aunties pray. I seen grandmas hold the family together every day. So why we forget where the love come from? Why we treat each other like we already done? We here to remind you, not judge your pain. Not point fingers, but break them chains. Men need nurture, women need respect. And both need healing, not toxic effects. Scarberian Queens, we bringing truth to the scene. Not just opinions, we building solutions and dreams. From pain to purpose, yeah, we breaking old routines. Trying to heal black love, men and women in between. Scarberian Queens, let the ancestors speak. Motherly laws bring the village back to the streets. We ain't here to fight, we here to teach and to reach where we can rise together. Soul to soul, hard to beat, Yummy Bula in the building, yeah, I'm talking that real. We ain't bashing nobody, we tryna heal. Men be carrying weight, women carrying pain. Everybody guarded, everybody strained. But deep down, we all wanna be safe, wanna be loved, wanna breathe, wanna lay our heads straight. Every man remembers that nurturing touch, whether it was mama, auntie, or somebody.